Well, hello, and welcome to that thing we like to call Curlis Mania, where we talk all things pop, rock, and prog. And it's a big day today. I got one of my stalwart guests back on the channel, Mr. Davey Cretin. Davey, how are you today?
Excellent. Thanks for having me back, Tom. It's been too long.
It has been a while. It has been a minute.
That's
Yeah.
because we're both so busy. You're busy, I'm busy. So we finally carved out some time to do this. And
Yes.
today we are tackling Door to Door.
Yes.
Do
The
you
the
have a physical copy?
I don't even have a physical copy of it.
Oh my goodness gracious. No
Davey's
copy
gonna
of
be
Door
like
to Door.
aghast that I don't have a copy of this.
I'm shocked. I have a teeny little picture. It's right there.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, there we go. I can also put a picture of it, like picture in picture. I'll put a picture
Okay.
in editing. But yeah, 1987's Door to Door, which is the last album of the what we would call the classic lineup, right? So I'm sure Davey's got lots of information for you that to tell you all about this record and what the lead up to it, right? Because there was a greatest hits before Door to Door, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we did Heartbeat City. That was our last episode.
Right.
We tackled Heartbeat City and we decided to save the greatest hits, which came out a year later in 1985. There was one new song and one redone song on the greatest hits. So I'll quickly mention those two songs, which are on the other sheet, not in my hand.
Hmm.
First, we had the new song that Rick Ocasek was actually going to do on his solo record he was working on in the mid 80s, but he didn't use it. So the Cars got it, and it is a song called Tonight She Comes, written by Rick, of course, lead vocal by Rick. It's a hair under 4 minutes, hit number 7 in the US, the mainstream rock chart, my favorite chart, hit number 1.
Wow.
Year end chart was 81 for the Hot 100, and year end for mainstream rock 15. So this is a one off single they added to the greatest hits. It came out, where's the date here? I have it somewhere. I lost it. October 14th, 1985, it came out. Hit number 6, the single came out. Hit number 16 in Australia, 36 in Canada, 20 in New Zealand, 79 in the UK. This is the last of the 4 top 10 hits the Cars had on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Now, they allegedly took a month in the studio to do this song.
Wow.
This song contains one of Elliot Easton's best guitar solos, I think. It's so fluid, it's like a song in itself. And he said the reason that it sounds so great is because they were in the studio so long, he kept tinkering and tinkering. And it's this perfect solo for about 30 seconds or so, from 145 till about the 216 mark, when he's holding the note and it fades out. To me, it's one of his most perfectly composed solos that I wrote down. And he said it's almost like he had too much time on his hands. Wink, little Styx reference for you. And to me, this song is pure pop perfection. This is a great song, Tonight She Comes. It's on the greatest hits, and then it featured on other greatest hits, but it's not on any of the studio records. Then they also did a remix of the song from 1981. They redid I'm Not the One. 4 minutes, 11 seconds. The drum machine, they like did an echo on it. It's very prominent. It starts off with the drum machine, so it just sounds up. There's the 80s
Right.
sound, unfortunately. And to me, the keyboards are higher in the mix and the guitars are lower, more muted, and some of Elliot's little leads just aren't there in this mix. Ben's backing vocals seem to pop out more when he says, "You know why," when he's answering Rick's singing,
Mhm.
"You know why." They just seem a lot louder in the mix, too. It's definitely, to me, more synthetic and a little more overwrought. This came out January 13th of 1986. Was also in the Adam Sandler movie Billy Madison. Hit 75 in Australia, 82 Canada. The Billboard Hot 100 here in the States, 32. So it was a top 40 song, but not a top 30 song. Adult Contempo chart, 24. And my beloved mainstream rock chart, it actually hit number 29. And it's a
Okay.
ballad. So I think I like the original better from Shake It Up in 1981. This version's okay. Just sounds a little more fake to me, and like they're trying to make it a hit because it wasn't released as a single in '81. What are
Right.
your thoughts on these two
Right.
songs from the greatest hits?
Yes, yeah, I think Tonight She Comes is a great song. I think that, and I agree with you that it's it's one of Elliot Easton's solos. Like he's known for this, right? He's known for his amazing solos that are so memorable. And Tonight She Comes is absolutely one of those, no doubt. And I think it's a good song. It's a very catchy. I like the song a lot. I think it's a great car song. And then the remix, like to your point, yeah, it's one of those where you're like, I'm not sure why they did that. Like you said, maybe they were trying to soup it up to make it more of a hit, and it didn't quite work. So that's just my opinion.
100%.
I agree with you. I like the original a bit better. So
Me too.
yeah.
So now we're going to move on to the record Door to Door that came out August 25th, 1987. They took 7 months to record Heartbeat City in '83 and '84. This one took 2 months from April to May of 1987. They did it at Electric Lady in New York City, not far from where I am in Queens. This is the longest Cars studio record at the time, almost 47 minutes long, a little shy. Came out on Elektra again, produced by Rick Ocasek, sixth studio album, the last with Ben Orr, unfortunately. I'm just gonna try and breeze through my charts because I wrote down so many. Japan 32, Canada 19, New Zealand number 10, Norway 9, UK 72. It didn't do that well in the UK. Number 26 here, hit number 26, the
Okay.
lowest charting of all
Wow.
the Cars records.
Right. Right.
Last album with Ben on bass and vocals, sadly. The band broke up a year after its release, although they didn't really tell anyone until they broke up before that. They didn't tell anyone until a year later.
Mhm.
David Robinson plays real drums on a lot of this record, but they still put most of it into the computer.
Right.
So
Right.
sometimes the drums sound real, and then sometimes it sounds like a drum machine.
So
So he
true.
did a lot of real performances, but sometimes it sounds like acoustic drums, sometimes it doesn't.
Hmm.
The
Agreed.
last tour date that they did with Ben was at the Cobo Arena, the famous Cobo Arena in Detroit, Michigan, December 12th, 1987. And the record, as I said, came out August 25th, '87. It was certified gold October 21st, almost 8 weeks to the day later. October 21st, '87, they certified it gold. And it didn't perform that well, the record, but I think it was on the back, even though it's 3 years later, of Heartbeat City. That's why it's certified gold. And everything else is platinum plus in their catalog, not
Right.
including the last studio record, which we'll get to in our next episode, but more on that later. So
Hmm.
you had the Fearsome Five, some additional production on the album, Greg Hawkes. Now, if you read the book that Tom and I both have,
Hmm.
the Cars by Bill Janovich from Buffalo Tom, if memory serves.
Yes. Yep.
So I was reading in this book, and Greg was very upset because Greg co produced the record with Rick, and he expected it to say that. And Rick didn't give him the proper credit. So Greg was very upset with
Right.
Rick.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And eventually he got executive producer credit. But
Hmm.
he really wanted a co-producing credit because he did a lot of work.
A lot of
Greg
the
did a lot of
legwork.
work
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Rick, and he wasn't credited.
Yeah.
Now the guitars were back, the real drums were sort of back.
Hmm.
Ben was in an unusual place because Ben had a solo hit during the
Yes.
Cars hiatus from '84 to '87 on his
Right.
solo record, The Lace. He
Yeah.
had a song that almost hit the top 20. I think it hit number 24, 25, called Stay the Night, which is a
Hmm.
great song. I love that
Good
song.
song. Yeah.
Such a catchy song. Could have been a Cars song. Now,
Right.
Ben wrote music, but he didn't write any lyrics, any words. And his girlfriend at the time, I think her name was Diane Page, she was the one who wrote the lyrics. So Ben came back to the Cars and told Rick, well, I'd like to have some songs on the record. And he said, you're not a songwriter. He said, well, Diane and I wrote these songs. Oh, no, no, no. She's not getting any credits on the album. So Ben felt very slighted. He had been friends with Rick for years. He wanted his songs on the record with Diane. Rick said, no, we're using my songs. So Ben was very frustrated. He was very upset. And he started, unfortunately, according to the book, hitting the bottle a lot. He
Hmm.
was drinking, maybe doing some other stuff, and he was not happy. He went to the studio, he performed his vocals, but he really didn't want to be there. He was
Yeah.
not having a good time, and he was in a really bad, a really dark place. And you can get a
Yeah.
lot more details reading the book. So the Cars came together to do the record, and the first thing they did was started jamming on an old song, which I'll get to in a minute. But the first song on the record is called Leave or Stay. And they had made a demo of that in 77 along with another song we'll get to. And they got to the other song. They started jamming in the studio, and David Robinson was on the drum kit. And they went into this song called Ta Ta Wayo. More on that later, and inside one of the album. 11 songs on this record, by the way.
Hmm.
And they're jamming and they notice they're having fun. And they wanted things to be different. So even though David Robinson was playing acoustic drums, it got put into the computer. Like I said, sometimes it seems like real drums, sometimes it doesn't. They also had him playing along with certain band members to give it more of a live band feel at the time. So the record starts off with this song that's under 3 minutes, lead vocals by Rick, called Leave or Stay, and it's a throwback. This is 87. They had did a demo of it 77, but never released it. They used to play it live back in the days when they didn't have enough material to fill a full set. So you get this really rocking song here. It's a throwback. It's an upbeat rocker. It's a return to form after the often overproduced songs on Heartbeat City to me. It's guitar based, and Elliot's extremely present in the mix to me here. Some spectacular guitar bursts throughout this song. You get Greg's ornamental keyboards, and it just rocks, rolls, and rules to me. It proved that the Cars were back. But the thing is, the whole musical landscape had changed from 84 to 87.
Right.
So now you
Right.
got thrash metal, you have the glam metal slash hair
Hair
metal, whatever
metal.
you want
Right.
to call
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
have hip hop coming into the mainstream,
Fancier stuff, hip hop, things like that.
dancier stuff. You
Right.
still got the new wave, the synth pop.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of different elements. And even though the Cars were back rocking, people had forgotten about the Cars because they had formed attachments to other bands and other styles of rock. So the
Hmm.
Cars were sort of left in the dust, so to speak, to
Yeah.
use a term associated with cars and vehicles. So I like the opening song. I think it's really good, but the album just didn't do as well because things had moved on in 3 years. It's amazing that in 86, Boston had done as well as they had with Third Stage after an 8 year absence from 1978 to 86. Boston somehow went triple platinum after an 8 year layoff, but the Cars, after a 3 year layoff, went from multi platinum to gold. So the
Yeah.
writing was on the wall. So that is the first song. The next song was the first single, "You Are the Girl," also a little under 4 minutes long. So it's about a minute longer. This has a dual vocal by Rick and Ben. The
Hmm.
only other time they did that was on Candy O with "Since I Held You."
Wow. That's
It's the closest thing on this album, I think, to a classic Cars sound. It's a little ditty with the dual vocal credit. The single came out August 11th, 2 weeks before the album. Back with Tata Wayo Wayo. Hit in America number 17 on the Hot 100, number 12 on the Adult Contemporary, and number 2 on the mainstream rock chart. It's a darn shame that it didn't chart higher on the Billboard Hot 100. It's such a catchy song. You get lead vocals, melodies in the song, ear candy keyboards throughout, backing and harmony vocals. Elliot Easton has his first great guitar solo here. I also love Greg's bouncy, bubbling synth line that comes in and out of the verses and the choruses. This was their 13th and final top 40 hit in 1987. And like I said, second time they shared vocals since the second album, Candy-O, "Since I Held You." So this was the biggest hit and the most popular song from the album. Track 3 is a Ben Orr lead vocal, "Double Trouble," a little over 4 minutes. It's a mid-tempo guitar rocker. It has an excellent, insistent rhythm guitar from Rick, which I think is really good. And Elliot spins off leads throughout the song from the rhythm guitar part. He also has another brief burst of lead guitar solo about two-thirds of the way through the song. It's Elliot's best playing to me, but that it comes towards the climax of the song, where he's sort of doing leads as the song is building and then fading out. I think it's a good deep track. It's not great. Then we move on to a song I have a little bit of a problem with, track 4, Fine Line. 5 minutes, 23 seconds long. It's a slow ballad that Rick sings, and it's a tad out of place at track 4. I wish they would have flipped it with track 5 and had Fine Line at 5 and the next song at number 4, because I think it would have made for a better side. Everything You Say is the next song. To me, they should have flipped it around. It would have made for a more cohesive side 1 on the album. I always thought there was a female singer on this song. If you listen to the song, especially in headphones, earbuds, it sounds like there's a girl singer. And
Hmm.
I'm looking everywhere on the internet for credits who is singing female backing vocals on Fine Line. It says there are no female backing vocals.
Huh.
So I think what Rick did, if you remember in 1987, Fleetwood Mac put out the Tango in the Night album. Lindsey Buckingham, big studio whiz. At the end of Big Love, there's these oohs and ahs, male and female, and it sounds like Lindsey and Stevie, and it's supposed to sound, like copulation.
Sure. Sure.
But it is not Stevie. Lindsey had made
Lindsay.
his
Yeah.
voice, he had tweaked his voice to make it higher pitched.
Right.
So it's Lindsey with Lindsey, and it's oh,
Ah.
and it's
Right.
both Lindsey. So I'm wondering if Rick did that here because I can't find any credits for a female vocalist on this song. But it
Yeah.
sounds like there's a girl singing.
Hmm.
Is it Paulina uncredited? Is it
Maybe.
BB Buell, who we've spoken about on a previous episode?
Right.
Is it one of them? Is it a friend, a lover? Who knows?
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a girl, but there is no girl on this song
Could be
from what I
Paulina.
could find.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I'm guessing that Rick, who was also a studio expert, like Lindsey Buckingham, just pitched someone's voice in the band to be a higher octave, to sound like female vocals. That's my best guess. But having Fine Line at number 4, it just kills the flow of side 1 for me. So
Mhm.
the next song, Everything You Say, just a hair under 5 minutes. This has a Benjamin Orr vocal. For the first time ever, you get acoustic guitars appearing on a Cars song. And it gives it a very slight country western feel to me. This has like this rollicking country feel. I like Ben's lead vocal. I like the backing vocals. You hear Ben's bass on this song, which is nice. And you get Elliot playing this electric guitar, like our friend Logan would say, the guitar. It
The key
sounds
part.
exactly. It sounds countrified. So
Right.
this song is very different with the acoustic guitars, the country feel. I like this song. To me, it's a very deep track. I really like it. It's a peppy poppy deep track. Then we end side 1 of the vinyl album. Under 3 minutes again, Ta Ta Wayo Wayo. This song goes back to 1977. And this was the song they first started jamming to in the studio with David on real drums. Now, manager Elliot Roberts states that no new songs were written for this album in the book that I showed before, that
Mhm.
all these are rejects from other Cars albums because the band wasn't getting along. They weren't in good places. Everyone wanted a little more money and more credit. And Rick, he was firm. This was his band. He ruled it with an iron fist, and what he said went.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
they weren't really happy in the studio. They had been together for 10 years, mainly 10 years on and off touring, and they were just living in each other's back pockets. They needed some space. They got it after Heartbeat City, but then things weren't so copacetic when they got back together to do this record. It's very different. It's done faster than the previous album. To me, it's more of a band rock album, less studio tinkering because you didn't have Mutt on this album.
Right.
And I like Tata Wayo. Uh, you get Greg's rollicking electric piano, Elliot Easton's wailing guitars make this sub 3 minute song work for me. And I like the woo woos too.
Mhm.
So that's how side 1 ends with Tata Wayo. Begins with a song from 77, ends with a song from 77. What do you think of side 1 of Door to Door, Tom?
Yes, well, I do like both of the 77 songs, of course. And I really like the demo versions of them even better. Because
Yeah,
you
we're
can
gonna get to that after.
yeah, because we'll talk about that, but we'll get to that. But these are cool songs. I like those songs. You Are the Girl is a good single. I mean, it's catchy. It's a good single. And I do like, to your point, I love the back and forth between Rick and Ben on that song. I love that. Um, but you had actually mentioned Double Trouble and Fine Line to me are the sort of in the middle, and I don't really like either of those songs that much. They're okay. And Fine Line goes on way too long because I think you said you kind of lose the flow a little bit, and I agree. It's because it's over 5 minutes,
Yeah,
and
5:23.
it's a kind of a slow burn ballad kind of vibe, and it's like okay, this needs to be later in the record or something. Um,
Precisely.
exactly what you said. I'm kind of repeating what you said, um, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of a cool track and it's kind of something different, but I don't love it. And then everything you say is kind of jaunty and upbeat, as you mentioned, but it doesn't really sound that much like the Cars. It kind of sounds a little different. So yeah, so side one is not bad. I like Leave or Stay, Ta Ta Way Away, You Are the Girl. Those are the three songs for me that stand out on side one.
Okay, so about half of side one.
About half a side one. And you had said, it's funny, I wanted to just reiterate, you had said something about when Ben came to Rick and said, "Hey, I want to start writing the songs and my girlfriend is gonna write that." And he didn't just say no, he said no friggin' way. Like he basically said, "Get out of here with that. Are you kidding me?" And I think that caused a lot of bad blood when he did that. And I think there was also a little bit of jealousy because Rick had spent so much time on his solo record, The Other Side of Paradise. Is that what it's called? Right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Other Side of Paradise, I think it was called. And he had slaved on that record and it didn't do very well. And Ben had a hit on his solo record, so there was a little bit of jealousy going on there too, I think. So yeah, who knows? But anyway, it's just interesting that it's too bad that Ben and Rick started to fight during this time. You know.
You add money, you add drugs, you add people whispering into their ears, you're the
Yes.
band. Well, you
Yes.
had the hits. He
Yep.
didn't have
Yes.
a hit. His
Right.
record didn't do as well. You're a main part of the band. You sing a lot of the song. And just,
Yeah.
whenever there's money involved, things could get a little dicey. And after a decade plus, they were definitely dicey here with the Cars.
Yes. It didn't.
Now, moving on to,
Really quick. Was Heartbeat City
yeah, sure.
was their biggest selling record, right? Is that right? I'm not positive.
Actually, no. The first album is
The first
6 times
record?
platinum. Heartbeat City is 4 times platinum.
Okay, but it was really successful. So they were coming off this, and the Cars, you think about it, to your point, you said it earlier, every record had sold well. I mean, even the ones that didn't sell as well, they're still selling pretty well. And they really they hadn't had any failures yet. And I think that to your point, the egos were just going up and up and up, and the money was going up and up and up. And it just that's when things start to get dicey, right? In any band. So, yeah. So anyway.
That's what it was, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So anyway, so on to side two.
Side two begins with a 4.5 minute song that was a single, was released October 19th. And was this let's see, the second single, yeah, October 19th, 87, backed with the title track Door to Door, which we haven't gotten to yet. A song called Strap Me In, 4 minutes, 24 seconds. Rick sings this one. It only hit number 85. So imagine going from a number 17 song on the Billboard Hot 100. Your next song hits number 85, yet it hit number 4 on my beloved mainstream rock chart in the Billboard magazine, chart that I used to live for back in the day. You get another upbeat, mid-paced rocker. Might be my favorite song on the record. It's in contention with another one we're going to get to. Again, the guitars take center stage in this song. Elliot Easton's solo, a little past the halfway mark, is stellar. It starts slowly, it picks up speed. The ending to me kind of echoes a little bit of Eddie Van Halen's Beat It solo for Michael Jackson, the way he speeds up and to me, it just echoes that a little, reminds me of that to a lesser extent. Because Elliot Easton's great, but he's not Eddie Van Halen. Few are, few
Right.
are. Greg's keyboards here are all heavy hooks throughout the song. sturdy enough to hang my 10-pound leather jacket on, I wrote down in my notes from a few weeks back. If you don't know the song Strap Me In, I would recommend this is the song to check out from the album because it's a good upbeat rock song with some great playing from Elliot Easton, especially the solo. So I'm a big fan of Strap Me In. The next song was the third single from the album. It's called Coming Up You, a little over 4 minutes. Ben sings the lead vocal here. Came out January of '88 as the third single, backed with Double Trouble, which we spoke about. Third and final single, hit number 74 in America. So again, not really doing too well. And on the US Adult Contemporary chart, number 37. This mid-paced pop tune features a hook-laden vocal from Ben and exquisite keyboard work from Greg throughout the song. You also get Ben's bass in the mix here. It stands out a bit to me at certain parts, as do the harmony and backing vocals. I think the song deserved a better fate. It's good, maybe not great, but I think it's a really good song. That's the second song, Coming Up You. Now we get to Wound Up on You. And here, once again, we have a Rick ballad, 5 minutes long. It's a little too long. May have been better suited for his solo album than a Cars album. It has a nice chorus, but it takes nearly 90 seconds to get there. And it's sort of like the old cliche, don't bore us, get to the chorus. It's
Yeah.
very languid, it's very laid back, and it takes too long to get to the chorus. You get a lot of nice shimmering and simmering keyboard work from Greg Hawkes on here, like the backing vocals. Just like Fine Line, it meanders a little too much, and at 5 minutes, it's just overly long.
Hmm.
Now, track 10 out of 11, we get to a Ben vocal, 4 minutes, 39 seconds, a song called Go Away. To me, this is the gem of the song. Tucked Away is the penultimate track on the album. And I know our good friend Todd Evans loves this song. Check out his channel on YouTube, Recurrent with Todd Evans. He is back and doing videos. I saw him on a Contrarians video and he was talking up this song, speaking very glowingly of Go Away. So I know he loves this song too. Best thing about this song to me, Ben's vocals. Second best thing, Greg Hawkes' dreamy keyboard work throughout the song. Third best thing are the melodies that sweep and swoon and soar during this tune. Is it their best deep cut? Perhaps. I think Todd would say that it is their best deep cut. Strong words, but I love this song. The chorus is undeniable, and I think Elektra should have released this song as a single. I think it's a huge miss. Great song. Now we are to the last track on side two, the last song on the record, the title track, Door to Door. Rick vocal, 3 minutes, 17 seconds. To me, the record ends in fine style with this fast paced rocker. In fact, it's so zippy and quick, it's almost punk like with its insistent drum beat and its speed. The guitars, vocals, and drums carry the song along. Greg has his exquisite keyboard ornamentation as usual, and Ben's bass is audible on this song too. Elliot has an ace solo about two-thirds of the way through the song that lasts for 30 seconds. Chef's Kiss, great solo by Elliot Easton there. You get some nice ahs throughout the song, and it has this smashing Stark ending with the vocal. Never had a dream like you before. Ah, even knocking door to door, knocking door to door.
Yeah.
And then someone slams the door. And to me, it was the Cars, or at least Rick Ocasek, slamming the door on the Cars' career
Arcs.
at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that. Maybe Rick knew that in his brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, it's a great way to end the record and to end their career at the time. But 24 years later, we get a comeback record that nobody saw coming in 2011. We get Move Like This. More about that in our next episode. What do you think about side two, Tom?
Side two. I have to concur that Go Away is a great track that is buried on side two. Like that is when I was listening for this episode, I was like, that song is a cool song. I can't believe it's this late in the record.
Can you sing the chorus?
Oh my God.
Or do
Okay,
you want me to try it?
you try it.
You're the better singer.
All
I'll give you that. I love when you sing on these episodes, but it's why don't we go? Why don't we go away? And the way
Yes.
Ben's
Yeah.
voice goes up, go away.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that. I think it's
Why
such ear
don't we
candy.
go? Yes. Yes. Why don't we go away? Yeah. Yes.
Like that, even
Yeah.
better than me. Thank you.
Yeah, and he's getting
But that,
the cool backing vocals going on. It's really cool. And, oh my God, it's a really cool track. I agree with Todd completely that it's a great deep track, and it's like nobody knows that song, you know, and it's ridiculous. It should have been. I couldn't agree with you more. That it should have been a single. Um, and Wound Up on You, I kind of like too. It's very different, but it's too long. I agree with you. It's too long. It should have been edited. You know, if it had been edited down to like 3.5 minutes or something, I think it would have been a much better song because it's a cool chorus. I love the chorus, and it's got those really cool like creamy vocals on it. Like, which is kind of unlike the car. It's kind of weird. It's like this is sort of unlike the cars. It's almost like Drive. It's a little bit like Drive, maybe. I don't know. But
good point.
yeah, so but it's cool, but so those are kind of different songs. Strap Me In is a heavy rocker with lots of guitars, which is kind of cool. And a Door to Door almost sounds like the one thing that hit me with Door to Door is almost sounds like it could have been on Panorama. Like that sort of that sort of insistent drumming thing, you know.
Like Up and Down, another
Yes.
favorite song, and that ended the album. Up and Down,
Yes.
one of my favorite Cars songs.
Exactly, exactly. So it kind of reminded me of that a little bit, which I really like, you know, because Panorama, as you know, is like one of my favorites. So I really, yeah. So Door to Door is kind of a cool track, and I like you said that solo on Door to Door. Oh my God, it's so good. Because it's weird because Elliot Easton. What's your take on this? Like he's on this record, but I don't know if he's mixed well enough. Like I wish I could hear him. Like I can hear the solos and stuff, and I hear guitar on the record, but I almost feel like sometimes, like in the earlier records, his solos would come out more. I don't know how to describe it. It's like I think it's a production thing. Like you were saying about the drums earlier. Like the drums, you can't really tell sometimes whether they're live drums or a drum machine, and it's just the way they're mixed.
Well,
That's kind of the problem I have with this record too, a little bit.
well, Rick produced the record. I probably have the name of the mixer down in my notes. Let's see, produced Rick Ocasek, additional production, Greg Hawkes.
Okay, well, so he probably mixed it.
I
He probably,
don't, I don't have the mixer down, so it's probably the two of them that mixed it.
yeah,
And maybe because of personality clashes and maybe Rick turned the faders down, who
yes.
knows? We
Who knows?
weren't there, we
Who
can't
knows?
say.
It's
But
all
his solos
speculation.
on this the
Yeah,
solos on this record are great. And there
yeah,
are certain songs, especially in headphones, where you could hear more than if you're just playing it through a stereo
yes,
and just doing
yes,
chores around the house or whatnot. And you're
yeah.
not listening as carefully, but in the cans, you could really hear certain things you can't hear without them.
Yeah, you're right. I noticed it was a little different in the car too when I was listening in the car. So for sure. But yeah, so I mean, that's my take. I had said earlier to Davey, this is not my favorite Cars record. It definitely, I think it's at the bottom for me. Not to say it's a bad record because the Cars didn't make a bad album. And they're still a very talented band, regardless of what's going on, and they still have great songs. I mean, so even this record has a lot of highlights for me. It just there's something about the production that we're talking about. There's something about it feels a little bit flat to me. I'm like, where is Roy Thomas Baker when you need him? But that's just me. That's just totally me. It's just my opinion. So,
And I think I like this album more than a lot of Cars fans do.
oh, do
But I
you? Okay.
remember I was working in my first record store job at the time, and I remember buying this on vinyl when it came out, summer of '87.
Yeah. So you bought it right when it came out. Yeah. Yep.
The
Yep.
release date, which I think back then was on a Tuesday.
Yeah. Yep. Most
We would
likely
get our shipments. Sometimes the boss or I would drive to the distributor and get them. Sometimes we get them Monday instead of Tuesday. So I definitely had it on release
on
day,
the
if not a
day.
day
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah. It's gonna say you worked at a record store. You probably had it the day before. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And when you first listened to it, were you like, yeah, this is a great route? Like, were you really excited about it?
I liked it a lot. I thought it
Yeah. Yeah.
rocked more than most of the previous record.
Okay, there you
And I
go.
knew it was different, but I was so young, I didn't know about recording and production.
Right.
And
Right.
now we look back at how processed a lot of the '80s keyboards were, the digital compared to the analog from the
Right.
70s, which is something our friend Grant talks a lot about. Once
Yeah.
they got into Fairlights and DX7s, the whole keyboard sound of rock music changed in
Yeah.
the 80s. And the
Yeah.
way they produced the drums, and Hugh Padgham with the whole thing with Phil Collins drumming and
The gated
drumming, they
drum.
used
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
as technology advanced, they just started using more syncopation and just more fake sounding,
Right.
if you could say
Right.
that. It sounded different than the 70s, and now you could tell, oh, that was recorded in the 80s by the way it was produced.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. The like you said, that Hugh Padgham drum sound, where the drum sounds like cannons.
The Yeah, the gated drums, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's
Yeah.
too loud, it's
Yeah.
overwhelming. Other times it's not there. Sometimes the drums sound like cardboard. Where are the drums? And
Right, right. So what? Let's get to the demos, because I really want to talk about those. This song or this album, they wanted to kind of get back to, let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to the songs. Remember those songs we used to do in '77 at the Rat? Remember, let's go back to that. Let's go down memory lane and do some old songs. So there were demos of those songs, as you're going to talk about, that we can
and they first appeared on the 2 CD Cars Anthology.
yeah.
And the
Yep.
demos are all the way at the end of side 2. I don't know if you can see it with the glare, but
Yeah, there I can see it. Yep.
yeah, Leave or Stay and Tata Wayo Wayo.
Yep.
So this is where they are. Here's the big booklet.
Nice.
Probably less glare on that. So we're going to start with Leave or Stay, the 1977 demo, about 3 minutes and 3 seconds. It's slightly slower, but you get real drums here.
Real
In
drums. Yes, thank you.
1977,
Yes.
David Robinson was definitely on an
Yep.
acoustic kit.
Hmm.
To me, Ben Orr's backing vocals are more prominent in this version. They're higher in the mix to me. This version, the demo, is more grounded. It's less trebly. It's a little more bassy. And to me, it's just, I wrote what the doctor ordered. Nice to hear David Robinson on a real drum kit, and it's more organic and less processed. That's what I wrote about Leave
Yeah.
or Stay. What do you think?
Totally agree with every word you just said. It's like chef's kiss to me when I hear the demo. I'm like, that's what I want to hear. Like, because you can tell, to your point, you can tell it's real drums and acoustic kit, and I love that. And
Yeah,
and and you can hear Ben Oral very clearly. Yes.
much more than on the door-to-door version.
Which I love. Absolutely. I love the demo version of that.
And I'm not sure which song he does a drum fill in, but you hear him going across the drums. Oh, those are real drums.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Tell. You can really tell. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're going to move on to Tata Wayo Wayo, 2 minutes 47 seconds, the 1977 demo. Once again, David on real drums here, no programming. Elliott is on screaming lead guitar, but it's a little low in the mix, I noticed. The vocals and the drums are the most prominent things to my ears, and even Gregor's keyboards are somewhat subdued in the background, although they're lower than Elliott's lead guitar. Oh, sorry, louder. They're louder than Elliott's lead guitar, which seems to be the lowest thing in the mix. And once again, I like this version of Tata Wayo, Tata Wayo Wayo. What do you think of it?
I couldn't agree more. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I like it better than the record version. I think that it's got, there's that or whatever, that keyboard thing, that it's kind of that motif or whatever. And it's a little, it's not as up in the mix in the demo. It's a little bit, you can hear it, but it's not like the main. You can hear the guitar heavier on this, which I really like. So yeah, I enjoy it. I think those demos are great. I love them. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm
Yeah.
glad you like them. They're punchier. They're more old school, real rock and roll, if you want to
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah, it's a little more, you can tell they're from '77, let's put it that way. And
Yeah,
it's
and
it's
not
like,
they're not timestamped from the 80s, like most of Heartbeat City and certain songs on this record too, with the
yeah,
processed computerized drums.
yes,
He might be
absolutely.
playing real drums, but once you put them in the computer and digitize them, they just sound very different.
Yeah. And
And it's
David Robinson
basically
was
on
a
the
cool drummer,
it's
Yeah.
let him play real drums, but it's like on the ballads, that's when you notice that it sounds more like a drum machine. On the laid back, slower songs on Door to Door.
Hmm.
like Fine Line and Wound Up on You. Those are the songs where it sounds more like a drum machine to me.
Yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely. Well, Davey, as usual, you come with your A game, especially with the cars. I
Thank
mean,
you.
yeah, you always bring your A game, and I appreciate all the notes and the deep, getting really deep into the tracks, and it's really this is what we do, people. We get into these records and we dissect them, and it's fun to do this. It really is, and it's interesting that this album is definitely there's a split. There's a lot of, I mean, you do read some negative reviews of this record. There's some people that really don't like it. I'm in the middle somewhere. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's top tier cars. But I do think there's some songs, like we said, Go Away, for example, that's like a hidden gem. So,
And
um,
Strap Me In. I recommend
yeah, yeah,
Strap Me In also.
yeah, yes, exactly, exactly.
And
So,
and this is the album that actually Greg Hawkes said in the book. He's quoted as, "I can't listen to this record. It just brings
wow.
back too many bad memories."
Oh, that's interesting. I
He
forgot
wanted to be,
about
he
that.
thought, I'm the co-producer, I'm producing this, and then he gets no credit. And even he didn't want to talk to Rick. He didn't speak to Rick for a while after that.
Yeah,
For years, he didn't speak to Rick. And then Rick said, "Hey, do you want to play on my solo record?" And
yeah.
Greg wasn't, he didn't see Rick in a good light anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's in that book. That was one thing I got an impression on that book when I was listening to the book. That it was like Rick was kind of difficult, he got harder and harder to deal with as time went on, it seemed like. And maybe it's just because he was writing all the hits and he was the writer and he was the guy. I mean, he was the guy. I mean, but he became less and less of a benevolent dictator, I guess. I don't know.
That's
I
a good way of putting it.
know. And that this
It
is
was
just but
his way or the highway type of thing.
yeah, and I think the band was getting like, what's going on here? Why are you just becoming kind of a jerk all of a sudden? What's happening here? You're not listening to us anymore. So I think that became more and more of a and then like I forgot about the Greg Hawkes thing where he, was like, I'm not no credit. You're not giving me any credit. I worked my butt off on this record. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of
Exactly.
yeah. So understandable, but yeah. So that's I don't know. I mean, any concluding comments from you, Davey, before we call it?
Well, in our next episode, we're going to tackle Move Like This, the
Yes.
only record by the Cars as a four-piece. And we'll discuss the
Yeah,
history of this and when it came out and how it came out and the tour that they did. And I have some stuff inside the CD to show in the next episode.
absolutely. The
And
surprise.
I will
Yeah.
and I will just say, check me out on Cretin Classics. I got a lot of album reviews coming. I have a stack here of stuff I'm working on: the new Tori Amos album, the new Squeeze album, the new Yes album from
All
2011,
right.
From a
Yes.
Page Expanded, with
Mhm.
this great Roger Dean artwork. These are all digipacks or little boxes, so I have them in little sandwich bags to protect them. And last, I know one of your favorites, Tom, the new Joe Jackson, Hope and
Yes.
Fury.
Yes. Yes. I got to
So I
listen to
do have,
that.
and there's another one I should be filming tonight because I'm working on my notes in another room. I don't have the CD here to show. So I have a lot of album reviews coming up on Cretin Classics.
Absolutely. That's great. And I will put a link to Davey's channel below, of course, as I always do. I'll put a link to Cretan Classics below.
Thank you.
Yeah, check out his channel. It's great stuff. And if you're a music fan, you can't lose. Can't lose. So I think he's crazy about music as I am, which is like says a lot. So yeah, but anyway, that's it, folks. I hope, what do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think of Door to Door. I'm curious to see what you guys think, because read all the comments, and just curious to see what people think of this record, and where you would place it in the discography and all that stuff. So let me know. And of course, hit like and subscribe if you like what you see. Go check out Davey's channel. And that's it. We'll see you next time on Curless Mania. Take care.
Thanks for having me.